an artist, as a creative, and as just a human being in general,
Right.
we all have ideas. And everything that you see is an idea, you know what I mean? The streets, the buildings, everything is an idea. So my question to you is, how do you bring your ideas to life? What are the steps that you take?
When it comes to bringing an idea to life, I'm a sort of golden mind, where you know what you want to portray, or you know what you want to say in your work. You really just gotta start and then keep going, because once you see the start of what you created, it motivates you to add more and more and more, and then you start to see so many things. So many times I didn't create because I didn't know what to do, and then once I actually started creating again, I was like shooting out ideas, like had so many like different ideas because I started something which led me to something else, and you know, it's like that, it led me on a journey. I guess the idea for me really quickly becomes a dream. And once something becomes less of an idea and something that's like, how do I do this? How do I budget for this? I kind of deconstruct it and I'm like, this is a dream. If there was no limit to what I could do, what would I do? And that is how I start every project. Because if I start the other way, I can almost hinder my progress, or I never make anything.
My concept of creating and my ideas of creating just changed completely. Where I used to have almost like a formatted element, now I'm just like, here it is, let's see what happens. And it's really about the idea of just energy and us as energy and just moving as energy, man.
I think it all starts with having a fundamental, kind of like a building, you know? It all has a bottom and then it goes to the top. So that's how I start my art. I always have a base. That actually doesn't come with any structure at all. I kind of lay it all out.
When I create, I visualize it. There's not a lot of thought. So whatever happens is based on the initial reaction. It's an emotion. So when people ask me what's the inspiration, it's really hard to navigate in that space because the inspiration is just to create. It's invigorating.
It's hard. Sometimes it just like takes over you, like this creative spirit comes out of nowhere and you just have to create. And I don't ever go into anything with a plan. Like I don't know what I'm gonna paint. So when you find something that just feels more natural, it takes over the stuff that you've had in the past that you were doing. For me, it's just about the love of it.
How do you deal with having an idea but not necessarily having the skills to bring it to life?
Art's kind of just like always been part of me, but it was always like trial and error. So I used to throw out paintings and I've gotten yelled at by my business partners. I'm not allowed to do that anymore. So the truth is, I throw that shit away.
It's called, oops, I messed up on this canvas. I guess I gotta try again.
I would like see a mistake. And people would be like, what mistake? But I saw it and I'd be like, I'm done, I'm not finishing this, and I would get rid of it. So now I'll put things away and then finish them at a later date, or I'll just like white out over things. And like, so art is layering. Like there's paintings under paintings under paintings under paintings sometimes. I try to do things so far in advance that it doesn't, I can just spread everything out, all of it. Once I have the dream, then I feel like it's easier for me to plug in the more business part. So the contracts, the dates, deadlines, money aspect, budget.
When what you visualize doesn't come to fruition, there can be a defeating feeling where your inspiration's taking a hit and you're like, damn, maybe I can't do this. But I would just say when that happens, it just steers you in other directions. You can't fight something where you don't know how to produce it. So if I can visualize something and it's not even coming close, it really wasn't an inspiration. If you can't actualize something, then it's not an inspiration for me. All of my pieces is the actualization of what I realized. Put it on canvas, that's what I wanted it to look like, and if it is not how I want it to look like, then I won't create it. It'll be garbage, I will not show it to people.
How do you determine that I need to throw this shit out?
Most times I have hope. This is a secret, you can't put this in a documentary. Is it saying something? Is it What does it feel like? What is it representing? Is it like really contributing to my goal and like gonna help me complete that goal? So it's all the same to answer your question about going to that one goal and then making sure does this fit. If it doesn't fit, it's out, and if it does, you know, you keep going.
I think the process sometimes is emotional because it's your feelings. It's your actual feelings going out there and you're being vulnerable. That's the part that's the most amazing part. You're being able to be vulnerable, but it also feels free. To know, like, this is it. This is what it is, and this is what it looks like. Even if it's ugly, this is what it looks like. You know, this is what the emotion is. So, and it feels great afterwards. Because honestly, you're like, I didn't think it was gonna come out this good, but it came out even better.
Do you think society supports creativity and imagination in terms of like teaching individuals and giving them the courage to go out there and create art, showcase art?
Honestly, no. I think in school, mostly, especially, actually, I felt very controlled with my art. I mean, my teachers were amazing. They supported my work. But we were limited to do a lot of things. And I think when you grow, it kind of becomes, I want to say, a stigma, where it's like, oh, you shouldn't cross these boundaries because you were told not to at one point. But then you grow up and then you don't care.
Public schools and then private schools have a cut block taste of how life and things are. So when you step outside to be free and do things like those elements, that's for me like outside society. And oddly enough, I find that more accepting than societal rules. You know, you go to school, it must be black, it must be white, it must be this, it must be that. You must color in the lines. You know, you go out the lines, it's like it changes. Like I discovered that like society versus societal changes how art is viewed, and which is why, you know, art is up to the eye of the beholder. It's why art travels the way it does, moves the way it does.
To be honest, I stopped paying attention to society a very long time ago.
I definitely think society is failing artists and failing the arts. There's just so little funding. It just feels like our fight is always just such a struggle and tooth and nail, and we always got to prove something, and it's like, can you just knock it off? Like, this is beautiful, tangible work. This means something. Everything's a story. Everything is someone's life. Like, these are pieces of people's lives. It really is. Like, when people produce anything, whether it's culinary arts, fashion arts, cosmetic, hair, right? Anything that people are making, beer, wine, that is a craft and art. It requires innovation, passion. Like, you can't roll with any punch if you don't care about what you're doing to begin with. Otherwise, you'd be like, I don't want to do this. It's too hard. This sucks.
It's not about beauty. It's about what people can like make off of it. Society standards. And I think that's why now there's such an influx, like all these creative people, like we're coming together and we're making a space that wasn't there for us. We're taking it, we're creating it. That's what art is. Art is creating something into existence that otherwise wouldn't have existed. So we're using that same energy and creating those spaces and making it something that our society that we're building appreciates and values.
I talk to people a lot about social conditioning and influence and about societal norms. There are people that literally do not understand what a societal norm is. And I've had to explain this to people, and they look at me like I'm brain dead.
Societal norms is what drives most artists. Like, most art is going against societal norms or expressing how they feel about societal norms, because it's literally fucked.
Life is crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, life's a shit show. Society is just like, it's one boiling pot of shit, bro.
I think that's the importance of not just the artist voice, but the collective artist voice, organizing, doing this. If there was more of this where we were building each other up, creating that passage for the next person to just get in there and then start digging with us, like, that's how it happens. That is the most effective way to make anything happen.
So hard with who's looking at your work, you know? I might be uber spiritual and I might be uber Catholic and uber this and uber that. And they might look at it going, oh, what's this? And oh, what is the meaning behind that? And like, I'm just painting, man. Like, I don't care what society thinks sometimes. Sometimes like, oh, but I have to because I want it to sell. It's a hard bind, man. It's a hard bind.
So do you have any last advice or any words of wisdom for anyone in the creative world that has ideas but doesn't really know how to bring them out or doesn't really have the outlets to bring them out?
I would say just do you, man. Just feel free to just not care about what other people are thinking and just let the creativity go, because end of the day, someone is going to look at your art. Someone is going to compliment your art. Someone's going to buy your art.
Put it out there and let whoever needs to portray it however they need to portray it, and so be it at that point. You know, not care about any criticism, not care about what's going to come from it, or any, especially bad feedback. You know, you always get bad feedback, but I think that's the part where you have to not care.
You could write my name and I can write your name, but my signature is mine. You know, and that's my societal mark, you know, and that's my element in which people in society would recognize the difference between your name and my name is how we write it.
Shoot for the stars, aim for the moon. I think the art community is super supportive.
I support all artists in all mediums. Poetry, art, dance, it doesn't matter. If you're an artist, I'll support you.
Our community is very outspoken, and people are defensive. You know, people defend you and say you're protected. It's protected.
Make a million mistakes. Mistakes are good. There are no mistakes in art. A mistake that you see, nobody else is going to say.
Honestly, everything comes at its timing. If you feel that this is the right moment, just go for it. And even if you don't, I think it's still the right moment, because it's an opportunity that has come up from wherever it didn't come up from before. You let go of that fear. Let go of whatever is holding you back. Just let go of it all.
Even when you think you're fucking done, just keep going. It matters. And when you think it doesn't matter, it fucking matters because it matters to you. So if it matters to you, it doesn't matter what anybody on the fucking planet thinks. Not any aspect, not any influence, not any construct. No. If it's something that you love and it's an idea and it's a little hard to maintain, flip it into a dream and just get started. Find what works, find your people, find support, resources. It's out there. It's harder for us to find, but it's out there. So just keep going.
Everything that you make means something to you. So even if it don't mean to anything to a single person out there, that shit means something to you and it grows something out of you. So, you know, stand on that. Because that's your work. Fuck what everybody else got to say. That's your work and you know how you feel about it. Keep selling.
I kind of got nervous because somebody came, and I hope these are vegan and from Trader Joe's, because everything is vegan and from Trader Joe's in here, which is like my life.
Vegan crackers
From Trader Joe's.
Where's the shit show?